I had to pull up, get right. A sticky move on the west side. Cause you know you give me the best high. Ay, it was a midnight game slide. I had to pull up, get right. A sticky move on the west side. Cause you know you give me the best high. Ay.
Wow. Welcome. I guess it's the official episode 2, KTSE. Keep that same energy. This is Dallas at Light Skin Soul. We got Cliff the Gully. Over there is my
Keep it,
co-host.
yes, Cliff the Gully in the building, and we advise you to always keep that same energy. Keep it smooth, keep it consistent, but more importantly, keep it you, because you are who you are when nobody's looking, and you are who you are in the moment. Let's get this thing
And I
going,
wouldn't
baby.
want to be anybody else, man. I wouldn't want to be anybody else. We had a great
Exactly.
episode last week. Great episode last week. If you haven't heard it, please check out the Suteki YouTube page and take a look. There's a lot of gems dropped there. We plan on doing the same thing this episode, right? First and foremost, I'd like to give a quick preview of what we're going to be talking about, and then I'll let Cliff take over after that with what we're grateful for, right? So first and foremost, today's episode is State of Affairs.Sol, right? You can thank Cliff for that, but we're going to be going over number one, cat meta. What? Right. Number two, we were ruggers getting scammed themselves. Number three, a little bit of a Q&A about founders, do's and don'ts. And then we're going to close out by what defines good alpha, right? So it's going to be a great episode. But Cliff, I want you to go ahead and talk about what you're grateful for today, right?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to talk about what it is that we're actually grateful for. And we do, the way that we run this here, keep the same energy, we like to do is we like to discuss two elements of gratitude. The first thing we like to talk about is what we're actually grateful for, presently in the last 24 hours, and what we're also grateful for, for the week. So in terms of speaking for myself, what I'm actually grateful for at this present moment is I'm actually very grateful because here in New York City, we have a lot of Jewish holidays in the public school system. And my boys, my 9-year-old twin boys were actually off yesterday as well as today. So, I normally have them the weekends, every other weekend, depending on schedules. And I was able to keep them for an extra 2 days. And, I feel the greatest peace of mind when my kids are with me. You know what I mean? A form of self-care and meditation is watching my kids sleep. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my personal experience, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely grateful to be able to spend an extra 2 days with my boys because, 9 years old and in 3 or 4 years, I'm not going to be the coolest guy that they want to hang out with. But, communication open, spending quality time, I look forward to it. I embrace it. So I'm definitely grateful for that as far as like day is concerned and, the last 24 hours. And as far as the week, just kind of looking from more of like a 20,000 feet perspective, um, I want to actually scale it back further than that. I want to go back maybe over the last 5 to 6 weeks to where we are now. I am extremely, I'm probably the most grateful person on the blockchain. But I am definitely grateful for the opportunity to be able to say that I completed really, really respectable body of work as far as content over the last 5 6 weeks, having the opportunity to bless the Suteki spotlight and host it and interview different projects and founders and ask them the questions that people want to know. I pieces as your own research. So, you're able to, if you don't have the time to maybe tune into a space that's all recorded, so at your leisure, when you're at the gym, whether you're making dinner, you know what I mean? If you're at work, sulking on your lunch break because your wife is
Mm-hmm.
pissed because you finished early the night before,
Uh-huh.
you're able to listen to the podcast, catch up on what you need to catch up on. Uh, and so, I'm extremely grateful to be able to put together a really consistent, really, really solid body of work and, make Suteki brand look spectacular or even more spectacular than what it already is and just do my contribute and bring value to the community and the ecosystem as a whole. Very, very grateful for that. I'm going to pass to my Dallas. Dallas, my man. Tell the people
Yeah,
here
man.
what it is that you were grateful for as far as the day or so and in the last week or from a bird's eye view or perspective.
Man, what do I say? I mean, I'd say for today, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for high quality microphones. Because having you on here with a very respectable microphone, it just makes the world's difference. And I mean, I just you've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to tell people. Believe me, I know that much to be a fact, and I just needed to make sure that was really heard at the best frequency possible, right? I'd hate to have somebody like something as simple as Wi-Fi or a cell phone just kind of add delays and make complications. So I'm just definitely say thankful for the professional microphone you got now. Number two,
Yeah, amen. Thankful
hmm,
and thank you. Appreciate the alley oop as always. Definitely grateful. Appreciate that.
of course. Number two,
Yeah,
man, I don't know. That's a hard one.
I'm still playing with the bubble wrap. Childish, yes, I know. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that for a minute, believe me. Number two, I don't know. Just spent the weekend taking my daughter up to visit my family in Dallas. So just thankful for a safe travels right there and back. That's what I got. Simple as that.
Love it, love it, love it. No,
Yes.
listen, hey, look, family time, beautiful time, and for better or for worse, in a lot of cases, family is really all we have. You know what I mean? As like an earmark to kind of identify ourselves, even if we grow up to estranged or we end up black sheep in the mix, so to speak, or the middle child or the firstborn, whatever it is. When you really sit there and look at it, a large part of who you are, your identity, your thought process, based on where you are in your adulthood, sort of inner working and deep work and learning, unlearning. A lot of what forms us is our familial experience growing up. What we experience in the
Yeah.
household, what we see, what type of behaviors we observe between like our mothers and fathers. Because when you get to a certain point in life, you realize that what you do a lot of is you emulate a lot of what you see, more so what it is that you act. That's what children do. They don't do what they do what they see. So with that being, I think family time is very important to just kind of reconnect with just sort of, it's always like a time capsule, if you will.
Hmm.
I go visit my parents and things like that. So definitely a beautiful thing to behold, and just a beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
amen.
Uh,
So amen for that. Now we're gonna move the needle a little bit in terms of conversation if we can. Um,
hmm.
there's a lot. There's a lot of feline energy on the blockchain days.
Yeah. Quite
It's a lot of
literally,
pussy
man.
cat running around Solana. Okay,
Yep.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's retrograde. I don't know if because we're in the solstice, it's the fall,
It's got to be something in the air at least.
leaves change. But it started months, and the funny thing is, it started months ago. If you really think about it, because remember, it was cats on crack, right?
Right. Right. You
And then
got
it was this,
it's Cats on Crack is a big one.
right? And then
Go ahead.
after that came dead cats or something like that, dead cats, and then
Yeah. It was a couple derivatives, right?
yeah,
To
and
Bad
and then that
Cats.
that project, yep, and then yeah, more turned into bad cats.
Hmm.
Now we have cats, as far as Solana with the rad cats. We have rad cats, we have bad cats, we have cats on crack. And we just had one called
Yep.
don't
We got
don't
feline fiends.
don't f with felines or something like that. So
Yep,
I
that
just
one too. Hmm.
it yeah. So in thinking up the concepts for today's show, I was literally sitting there and I'm like, um, what's with all this pussy running around the blockchain? What's with all these cats? Like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? Would somebody on the hash? Like, what's going on? Like,
You
what
know,
are we doing? Like, why are cats
I
taking off?
wouldn't
Like
lie.
last year was the ape meta, right? Like we have 10,000 ape projects, right?
Hmm.
I stopped paying attention to anything with the word ape on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Except for ape 16s, that's up and coming. That might be worth because Dr. Solana and Spoon Kiss kind of So yeah, we might need to.
Oh yeah, shout out
But
to Trust
stop
Labs.
really
We can talk
paying
about that
attention.
later.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to Trust Lab. Shout out to Dr. Solana. Shout out to Spoon and Kiss, the guys. But no, in all seriousness, like I'm just really curious as to like this cat meta. Um,
Honestly, it's not really anything that's I've learned the more you try to focus in on reasoning and sound reasoning and rhyme and purpose, especially when it comes to you know NFT and like artwork, the more frustrated you'll get. I mean, I think it's just a matter of the people that started the meta with cats on crack. I mean, it was successful, and there has actually been a lot of derivatives, other projects that have like tried to come out. It didn't work, and like Dead Cats being one of them, right? And luckily enough, whenever it got derugged, and the new founder that came in was just a badass guy, and it's like, look, it's my way or the highway. Like this is gonna work, or I'm gonna die trying. And I think along that way, on the process of them building, which seemingly happened overnight, it did not. It happened in a couple of months. Gave these other projects, time, because there's a lot of dog lovers, well, there's a lot of cat lovers out there too, and it's people just think that that's something that they can relate to as far as artwork is going to sell. And so if it worked for you, it could work for me, right? And so whenever it picks up, when Cats on Crack picks up, they have their new enlightenment happening. I mean, that's going to pump volume up for them. People are just trying to take advantage of the nature of the situation, right? Cats being on top, let me just you know add on to that volume. Let me just leech on to what works right now, and and go from there. So I mean, I really just think it's just a matter of situation and taking advantage of opportunity.
Yep, yep, I think so too. And you know what I realized too, like with a lot of these newer sort of projects that are taking off, minus the don't F with felines, DFWF. I think that's the name of the project that minted either yesterday is when it was. It was like a
Yeah,
10,000 piece collection. Like a lot of these
it's okay.
projects.
It's okay to say fuck on a podcast, right? You can you
Oh
can say
yeah,
don't
yeah,
fuck with
yeah. Of course,
felines.
of course, of course. You know, it's just that I don't want to get into the seller antics because my conversation really, really raw. So you want to,
Clear.
I mean, I still want to maintain a certain level of
Of
professionalism, but
course, I
but
think you
fuck all
got
of
that
that.
covered. Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
nah, but seriously, like let's kind of deep dive just a little bit into some of these projects, and I think why they're taking off. Now, I got a question because when Cats on Crack really like took it to moon, I was kind of
hmm
looking at other Solana projects. I think Suteki had just kind of minted
hmm
around that time when they started to fly. What is
yep.
utility or the benefit to holding a cat on crack? Like, what is it?
You know, back then it was a lot. I mean, their roadmap was pretty simplistic. They stuck to their guns. It was something about what most projects have created their designs off of, right? Upcoming merch at some point, being able to stake for a token that was still a relatively new thing. So they were doing that, and they could use the tokens for some unknown reasons in the future. Um, I mean, it wasn't really too much outside of that. And at some point, some enlightenment was going to happen, and this is almost a year ago now.
Was it passive?
No, not at all, not at all. No.
No, because here's the
Uh-uh.
thing. A lot of people, I listen see it all over Twitter. Oh, community is the real utility. Listen, if I'm an introvert or I'm a hustler, I'm used to just going to get it for myself and so on and so forth. Like community is cool as far as networking, but if I'm gonna spend 1 soul, 2 soul, 3 soul, 4 soul, 5 soul, whatever your mint ask price is, like to know what the ROI like, because I don't, sometimes I'm in Discord, sometimes I'm not. So
Yeah, bro.
community is, you know
It's
what I mean? When
different
I think
now,
about
though,
it.
man. It's different. It's different. It's different meta nowadays. You're coming up 9 months after, they were really kind of getting their feet wet in the game, just like I was. As far as like running a project, it was way different back then. Back then, community really was the real utility. I mean, their community is the only reason why they rallied themselves up to be 50, 60 soul floor price. They just decided amongst themselves because they were dropping. They were sub 5 soul at one point. I mean, everybody thought it was a rug, blah blah blah, and the community just took hold of it and just started pumping. And all you saw on social media was just cats, 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 and then it just skyrocketed from there. They just determined and decided that it wasn't going to fail, and they were going to take it where they needed it to go. And they're also a big reason why the floor price doesn't drop very much at all. Even though they have, I mean, up until recently, they hadn't come out with anything new for like 6 months.
No
So yeah,
wristbands, no nothing. We can't get wrists and
nothing,
stickers.
nothing. They came out with nothing.
God
It's
damn. No
all
hoodies,
community, my guy.
no,
No,
no
nothing. No, the
Scullies,
hoodies
no
came out like
nothing.
3 weeks ago. No, hoodies came out like 3 weeks ago, my guy. Like that, literally. And they've been around for almost a year now. So
No, you know
just
what
goes
I'm
to show
asking?
you.
Let me tell you what I'm asking. Because it's not a
Yes.
slander. I just like really, especially like having this experience of like hosting spaces now and really sort of trying to fine tune not just my craft, but just my ability as an investor to like really analyze projects. I'm like, why are you here? I don't mean it from like a derogatory place or from a place of slander because I'm sure they're successful. It's something the founders and the devs did that obviously captivated the people and keeps them where they are. So shout out to them. It's just I'm asking from a place of ignorance. And when I say ignorance, meaning lack of knowledge thereof. I just wanted to like really get an
Hmm.
understanding of exactly, okay, what's this project is, what does it do? Like, why is the floor price where it is? Is there like, am I getting like a $50 kickback every month or something? And some type of token that's sold? Like, I
Nah.
just want to know what it is because, and the reason why I asked about them, especially when we were going to talk about like the whole cat made situation on right now. I was like a lot like what Bats is doing. Um, am I really a fan of it? I mean, yeah, I can see the novelty in like switching out your trades and your PFP. Dog,
Hmm.
I'm here to get the back. Like I'm in this
Yeah.
ecosystem to like mint some shit, hold some shit, stake some shit, earn some passive income, and in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, or when my sons turn 18, because I'm at the halfway mark, just hand those things down. You know what I mean? Introduce them to a financial planner and let them get it shaped. I'm here to like get the bag out of it. Like I want the long term investments. Like for example, like when you hear projects like Fat Cats Capital, Droid Capital, Centuries, like they have like actual utilities that speak to the investor in me. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? The guy that like
Yeah.
I'm really like listen, all this community and Woodstock, yeah, shit is cool, but I have to keep it honest with myself. And that's always allowed me to be successful. I'm here to get the bread, Stevie. That bread, Stevie. You understand? Because we're not going back to the Twip Club. We want the bread. You heard?
Man,
So I just want the bacon. I just want the fetty. The guap, the goon, the
I
green.
understand. I'm with you.
Carbohydrates, greens. We need that. All of
Yep.
that. Keep
All of
the engines running. I'm really just here. I don't feel any shame or anything because what brought me into NFTs was a clip around the holiday I saw on Instagram from Gary Vee talking about putting 50,000 in NFTs and watch your life change. At a point where I was dealing with some things and recovering from injury and whatnot, and then I heard like the Bored Apes were worth like $250,000, $500,000, and I was like, oh, Brett. I was like, blockchain. We're early right now. I caught a whiff, but I didn't have all the details at the time, so I couldn't really capitalize as far as Bitcoin because like in New York City, there's a couple people I know, but they were just using Bitcoin as far as like Silk Road because there was the dark web.
it. Yeah,
You
you
want to buy,
taking
you
people
want to
back.
buy
People don't know what,
like
what that is.
nah. But I'm saying like if you want to buy like an AK-47, some grenades or something like
Hmm. Yeah,
that.
this, that, and
Like,
the other. Yep.
listen,
Yep.
if you knew what it was, you knew what it was. And one of my
Right.
young boys from my neighborhood, like who, listen, his swipe game is crazy. Like it's
Hmm.
different. Like those who know what the swipe game is, I remember watching him, and at this point he had to be like 17, 18, 19 years old playing with Bitcoin and some type of wallet. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
actually saw him like about a year ago or whatnot. And I was like, you still got your Bitcoin? He's like, of course, bro. I still got like 3 or 4 of the bad boys. I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? I was like, I wish I had really tuned in with him at the time, but I was still in the hamster wheel of corporate America. So like we would see each other in passing and stuff like that
Yeah.
and like small talk. But when I realized that an ape was worth like a couple 100,000, I was like, oh nah, money,
By
not
half a
smell
milli.
money.
Yep.
I was like, where,
You
where
only
is that?
was.
So, and then I started from that Gary Vee clip, from those Instagram clips, it was like all this, well, join the Discord, we're on Twitter, da, da, da. And then from joining in the first Discord I ever joined, I realized that, oh, so it happens on Twitter. It really goes down on Twitter. That's where it's at.
I mean, it's definitely where people have the most conversations, right? That's really the lifeblood of the ecosystem that connects all of us. Connects all of us with each other around the world. It's Twitter.
Yeah,
Well, why? I don't know. It's probably just because it skips a lot of the fluff. You don't have the pressures of adding a picture just to talk to someone or to add value, right? And your moms and your whole family, your whole like family tree is not already on here. So that's pretty much what I feel to be the true influence regarding
exactly.
why people pick
Exactly. And
Twitter.
no, you're right. And to sort of like just kind of bring my point full circle, because I do have a
Hmm.
tendency on occasion to monologue of looking at my notes. Like the reason I'm
I'll let you
no, the
know.
reason I'm
You're
saying
doing
this is
great.
because the reason I'm saying this is because like I really came here for the money and for the opportunities, and if I could network and turn that over into the more bread, and I could turn 1 to 2 and then 2 to 6 and then 6 to 13, because sometimes I like my numbers, then let's get it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. So it's like, when I hear about a project like Bad Cats, for example, like all respect to D Rug in the project, because that's
Hmm.
a massive undertaking. The tide of the project, not only in terms of the community, but the overall ecosystem, to where they have a decent floor price, considering they minted less than a week ago, like 6-7 sold, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
performing. Like in all honesty, like I have to be frank when I say, like, to me, the switching out of traits, switching out the ear on my cat or the sweatshirt or the skin, for me, it's really just like a one-trick pony. Like after I do it once or twice, I'm like, all right, now what?
Yeah. It's a time and a
That's
place.
me. That's just
You
me
gotta
being honest, and that's
understand.
not a slight to them. That's not a slight to anybody who's listening, or devs, anybody on that team that might be
Of
listening. It's
course.
just like, what's the ROI? Like, because
Yeah. It's a social part
I'm
of it,
rolling
my
back.
guy. No, it's a social part of it, right? I mean, you gotta understand. Yes, sure. Maybe you don't have you know, the elongated effects, or maybe you do it once, do it twice. Okay, great. Now what, right? Well, we're still here in the right now, not in the future. Asking now what. Hopefully, the founders in the background working on the now what right now. But what matters as far as this trait situation is that when people enter this market and people find bad cats, they'll be able to do things with their NFT. Whereas other projects won't give you that opportunity. Everyone joins at a different time, and everyone has a different level of experience. So it's smart to have almost like a busy work aspects, right? It's fun, it's cute, it gives you something to do, something to work up towards, keeps you busy. That's something to preoccupy your mind when you first join the project. Hopefully, they continue building on that and add other layers to their business and add other layers to the plan to keep the people that have been rocking with them from day one from getting bored. You're right, but I mean, I think it's very smart what it is that they're doing, and that's why it's working right now. Now where they're going to be in a month, who knows? I mean, there's a
Yeah, I'm
lot of
not.
projects out there.
Yeah,
I don't get
no,
why
no,
they're.
no. I'm actually. I'll be honest with you. Um, I may just snatch one up off secondary because I do the artwork, but
Yeah.
like the project and the utilities and stuff like that. It's like, hey, we can switch out your traits, and we're doing a trait
Hmm.
marketplace. I'm like, okay, great. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's not a
Yeah. I
slight to
feel
them.
you.
It's me as an individual consumer. That's just where my perspective is. Now, moving further down the cat made a or the cat or the cat litter dialogue here this evening. Um,
Hmm.
listen, it's a lot of pussy on the blockchain, right? So like it's running
That
all
there
over
is,
the
my
block.
guy. That there
You know
is.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like just
Move over to the
all
story
this
you got for me.
and like the pussy cats are doing very well on the blockchain, right? I'm
And
gonna
they
have fun
always
with this.
will.
Uh,
Yeah.
right. So now we got rad cats. Now let me tell you why rad cats is kind of cool to me. Number one, I like the '90s theme and aesthetics with the like with the skin stuff, like the Minesweeper skin. Like I like the
Hmm.
artwork. I can't if I say, and then they have one that has like the skin and some of the clothing that looks like the like the PlayStation button, like the triangle, the
Right.
square. It's like, so it's kind of
Yeah.
dope to me. Like I kind of like that. But why all the cat projects? Why I'm really looking at rad cats and I'm really embracing them is because number one, they got NASCAR. Okay, I take that bad boy. I can get two die-cast model cars. I got 9-year-old twin boys. They like cars. They like, so I'm like, oh yeah, they'll love this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
that, they sponsor an actual NASCAR. We're talking about, like, I'm a fan of proof of work. What's working for you right now? Why should I give you my bread? Why should I relinquish the guap?
Yeah.
Explain to me why you should have my money. I'm a salesman. Sell me, thrill me,
Very
baby,
fair.
thrill me.
I
Lie
feel
to
that.
me. Tell
Yeah.
me what I want to hear.
I'm rocking with you.
Manipulate me. But damn it, excite me. Let's get it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I
Let's
mean?
talk about it.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
like
feel
them
you.
because they got NASCAR, beloved. If your NFT is sitting on the NASCAR during the race and the car wins the race, you get 10 bands. Oh, we.
Yeah.
Let's talk guap, money, bread. I can
Yeah.
go on the
Man.
NASCAR website before mint, and I can get Rad Cat's t-shirt with the NASCAR.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Crazy, huh?
Hezbollah from the UFC. For those who like contact sports, you know what I mean? Like myself. Hezbollah is everybody loves Hezbollah, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Hezbollah
sir.
into Rats and the NASCAR. So I like all these celebrity endorsements today. I'm like, okay, so this ND is gonna, let me hold on to this. Let me see what's going on. Not only that, they have an energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
And it's already like labeling done, everything ready to ship. So I'm like, okay, I like tangibility. Let me know that if I make this JPEG, I have something. I can do something. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to
I feel you,
thrill
man.
me, baby, lie to me, sell me, manipulate me. I'm an investor. Oh, I love it. Make me feel good.
Yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
unfortunately, it's not always that easy, and it's not always that simple, right? Most people don't come that prepared. And
Right.
before we get too carried away with the cat meta, I do want to get back to this, to the point at hand about the story you got for me, right? Because I know nothing about this, right? The ruggers getting scammed, something that you found out recently. Tell me about that. What is that?
Let's definitely do
What
that.
happened?
We're done with the cat meta. Pussycats run the world for some people.
Yeah.
But wait, moving right along. Yeah, I'm gonna play on that. Yeah, there's no
Uh-huh.
filter here. Dallas said,
Yeah, we'll get back to it.
Listen, I'm
I'm here
serious.
for it.
We here for it. So listen, now this is guy. I'm not gonna call his name out because I don't, I wasn't groomed in the art of tattletaling. But if you do your due diligence on Twitter, you would have stumbled across it this week. So he rugged several projects between like ETH and the Solana blockchain, and somehow he connected his MetaMask to the wrong site and his wallet drained. He lost 2 Bored Apes, a doodle, and a couple other NFTs at the moment, and I can't name. But nonetheless, he lost over $1 million. You know what we call that? We call that karma.
Payback.
Because he was spearheaded a couple of rugs and several cash grabs. And the weird thing, here's a weird thing about Web3 that's weird to me. Like in Web2 and in the real world, and I mean, it'll probably change eventually because, we want decentralization, but at the same time, you have to have a healthy balance, right? In Web3, somebody could drain your wallet, take your NFTs, take your soul, your USD, your money, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing you could do about it for the most part, at least at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, right? Those people can still exist in the blockchain. They could move. They could run. They could mint out. Devs shut the lights off in Discord. Discord disappeared. The Twitter, everything. They get away with 6 soul, 18,000, whatever they made off mint, and then reinvent themselves a month later in a completely other project and wash, rinse, and repeat.
It happens all the time.
Like in Web2, it happens all the time, but there's actual consequences and repercussions. You can pursue somebody. You can take legal action.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
IRL for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get a lawyer. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
also in IRL, like, if we talking off the book jobs and off the book money and things of that nature, like, you snake somebody, you know what I mean? The quote, you won't be around next year. Things can happen. Like,
Yeah.
listen.
Me and
The
you know all
world,
too well
the
that
world,
there's repercussions.
the world,
Yeah.
on a grand scheme, outside of the microcosm of North America, where you're force-fed suggested information in the form of quote-unquote accurate media based on what they want you to think. Outside of this hemisphere, the world is a very volatile and dangerous place. You can literally sit in ignorant bliss on this continent, in this hemisphere, and live out your life. And in some cases, get away with things. But there's a thing called karma. And in some way, it always comes back to you. If it doesn't get you, it'll get your kids, it'll get your relatives, or sometimes, listen, a long time ago, my very first sales job, had a conversation with an older gentleman. Like, and he gave me some game. He said 2 things I want you to take with you. And whenever I had those conversations, I feel like that's the universe speaking to me through that person, right? So I have conversations with people so I can take something with them, right? He said, listen, every salesperson has an expired, and the best salespeople are usually the ones because their learning curve is tremendous. They can build a skill set. Once you get set in your ways and your strategies and your tactics, sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. He said every salesperson an expiration date. So make your money and have your backup plan where you can turn that into something, reinvent yourself into something else. The other thing he said to me, which kind of stood out more than sales could apply to real world, he said, sometimes the karma that comes back to you isn't necessarily happening to you or yours. Sometimes the karma could just come back in the way that you feel afterwards. Sometimes your hindsight and your self-conscious is a monster that's having its way with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's things
No,
that
I feel you.
listen, there's things I've done in this life I'm not necessarily proud of. You understand what I'm saying? We all have haunts. The longer you live long enough to see yourself become a villain and own yourself and own all your flaws, your highs, your lows, your everything. You'll have haunts. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
not living life. You grow enough. Like when you live enough life, you learn enough. Like, this whole social media Web3 thing is like a nuance to you. You know what I mean? Like, so he said sometimes the karma is sometimes it comes back in the way that you feel. You know what I mean? Sometimes you do some sneaky shit, you do some dirt, you do some due diligence, and you tell on yourself because your conscience is guilty. So it's giving you that automatic defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? Dallas, you ever ask somebody a question or you ever approach somebody on something and then they have like an overblown reaction to something and you're like, where that came from? We ain't never had a
All the
like
time.
that before. Yeah, you know what
Yep.
that is? What's that? What's that?
Guilt.
Guilt. Guilt. Like you like you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We never had an issue. Me and you as homeboys, we peoples, we macking, whatever it is, whatever, business relationship, whatever it is, something seem a little fishy. I just inquired, all of a sudden you blow up. That's guilt.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
That's guilt.
Right.
That's
There was
guilt.
a
And the
predisposition of something
thing,
happening
right,
with you for sure.
right, because the karma eating you up inside. And a lot of times, like when the karma start to eat you up inside, like you know what I mean? Sometimes you'll avoid a person. Like you ever see a quote that's saying like when people did you wrong, they avoid you. Somebody snake you in
Yeah.
business, they're gonna avoid you. Somebody snake you in the family and they know they gonna avoid you. Somebody snake you in a personal relationship, they gonna take a step back. You don't go from in any situation, go from 100% invested to whoa Kimasabi from something was the trigger.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And
No, I love that, man.
and the reason why we Jews don't keep the same energy, we do a lot of monologuing is we drop a lot of science here. So there's a lot of things I want people to take away from these shows and apply them to everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point of the show, my guy.
So like imagine you come on the blockchain, you done rob thousands of people. Not only that, you rob people, it's really fucked up, right? You rob people that in some cases didn't have no business and they just that 4 or 5 soul might have been all they had left.
All they had.
Or all they could afford to invest. And they just hoping that, maybe, in a couple of years, the probably worth a couple $1,000. I could probably, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I could do something with, right? You robbing
Yep.
people that maybe in spaces didn't have it, or they might not even have the means to be able to go get it. They might not be a hustler. They might not have a job, whatever. They might have a little lump sum, maybe some crypto, you know, from the 2020, COVID, you know, when everybody was rich and catching flights, not
Right.
feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like
I feel
that
you.
might have been all they had left to roll the dice and invite. You robbed these people. I'm actually happy that happened. And here's the thing. You want to talk about guilt? You want to talk about audacity? He came on Twitter and was like, please help me track down these guys that drained my wallet. The way he was slandered and laughed at. You deserve it.
Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, come on now.
You
It's
deserve
so
it.
funny. It's like,
It
oh,
comes
how
with
the
the
tables have
injury.
turned. Yeah.
Absolutely. You just listen. In all reality, in life, listen. Two things you get. You get what you settle for, and you get what you work for, what you deserve. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are only two things that you really get. You know what I mean? Things that happen to you that are really fucked up, but that's called happenstance. That's called circumstance. That's called the randomness of the
Right.
universe. Life don't throw you no curveball. You probably, I don't know, you probably just sitting in your house, I don't know, fucking playing video games all day, just wasting away, doing nothing, playing with yourself. You feel me? But if you live life and you're out there, everything that I'm saying makes a worldly person. If you travel, if you're a go-getter, if you're out and about, if you're infinitely curious just about life and the possibilities, everything we're saying lines up. So imagine you rob all these people. Then you come back to the blockchain community, which is Twitter, and then you go help me. What? That guy deserved
Right.
it. That guy
Yep.
deserved it. That
Deserve
guy
every bit of
deserved
it.
it.
And
You snake somebody.
antithesis of that point, though, like, right, because there's people on that side, people on that side of the world, right, and then we got people trying to make it for people. We got people working towards building things for other people, right? And we call those founders, right? So I want to take that time to really pivot to, some of the people that are trying, that aren't douchebags, that aren't assholes trying to just make a buck off of somebody else, that they're trying to really elevate their own circle and their own community forward. And maybe they're having a hard time, or maybe they're doing good but they could be doing better, right? I really want to take this opportunity to move into the next segment about founders do's and don'ts, right? Because we know
Let's get it.
what you shouldn't be doing, right. We talked about ruggers getting scams,
Now, Dallas,
copy
Dallas,
MNS,
this is
right?
your domain. This is your domain.
Yeah, something like that.
So let me grab my pad. Let me take notes. Let's get it. Founders, do's, and don'ts. Let me
Yeah,
that
I don't
question.
know at all.
Give me 4 fundamental things, just based on your experience, not only as a founder, but also, in collaborating with other projects and being active in the community and being on spaces at all hours of the goddamn night.
Yeah.
That you picked up as a founder. Give me like 4 things you feel that founders should do.
Okay. First and foremost, you you need to be involved. You don't need to be some fairy godfather. You don't need to be a angel investor. I'm just here to put the money in, be on top with the highest percentage payout, and not put nothing else in. That don't work. That's not a founder. You need to be involved. So you're building a project. Hopefully you're doing it from scratch. Hopefully you're not paying for ads. You're not paying for promotion. You're not paying for other people to do your job for you, because culture builds from the top and trickles down. So, I would hope that most founders are in the Discord when they first open it, telling everybody, hey, when they show up, telling the mods that they pay for, that they're hiring on, right, onto the team, what to do. Tell people to be happy when they come in, be excited when people show up, ask questions. They should be answering questions, right? I mean, those types of things. Be involved. Step in when it needs to be stepped in. Thinking proactively about decisions that should be made, to push your brand forward. Number 2 would be to, begin with the end in mind, in my opinion, right? What is the goal? Do you even know? Why did you do this shit in the first place? Because if you can't answer that, then I'm telling you now, if it's not too late, put that fucking pen down. Like, go join a project. Don't build your own shit. You're wasting your time because you're going to fail. It's just hard out here, man. Like, you don't even have the perseverance and the latitude that is like preparing for what it is you're building in the first place, and you expect everybody that is in such a volatile market to just follow you blindly. I don't think so, Bucko. I don't think it works like that. Number three, let's see. Number three would be um, you know a memorable energy about you, right? I mean, and if you ain't got it personally, I don't think you should be doing it. I mean, I think God gives people God given talents and like pros and cons, right? Strengths and weaknesses. Some people have that energy when they walk into a room, they walk out of it, they're gonna everybody in the room, everyone's gonna want to know who they were, what they did, who they are about, right? Those are the types of people that we need leading the ecosystem, because those are the type of people that can help build Web3, and at the same time, collectively merge their already successful um, circle of people from Web 2 right into Web 3. And now that's a longevity type of thing, but it doesn't happen by accident, and it doesn't happen. It's never going to happen if people that are leading the way um, are faking it, right? They're this personality on Twitter, but IRL they would never be able to even shake your hand or look at you in the eye when you open the door for them at a gas station. Like those type of people
Keyboard
aren't going to be able
commandos. Let's
to
get it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And you and I both know there's plenty of them out there. Most of them are, right? I mean, I'm not. I know you're not.
Listen, these
There's people.
these NFT meetups is gonna be great.
Bro, I can't wait, man.
We'll have fun.
I can't wait. It's gonna be a hell of a time. For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure, man. And fuck. Number four. Number four. Um, hmm. I'd probably say like, you know, build. I mean, build and go seek after the best team that you can find, and don't move forward until you got it. You know, if you don't move forward confident in the team that you started with, you're just looking for money in the first place. You're looking to take advantage of a moment of opportunity that is, disparity and like people desperate, right? Gambling and tendencies and all this other shit, right? Money grab type shit. That doesn't work, man. You really got to mean what you say. You really got to like build something that's going to last, because this ain't how it was 11 months ago, a year ago, 10 months ago. Like people have been fucked over enough to understand what that feels like and what to look out for. And we got communities of people and friends and circles of people that have all gone through that, and we looking out for each other, me included. So you can't fake it. You
Right.
can't fake it no more. You
Nope.
can't.
And don't come up and don't do one-on-one OSU talks with high quality, or come in the extra space with some half-ass project. Because
Please don't.
not only will my questions break down in between questions, rethinking things. Because
Yep.
we're not here for the fuckery. We're here to invest
At all.
and be successful. So we want thoughtfulness developing these projects. We want
Right.
term thinking. We want foresight. You know what I mean? Clairvoyance.
Mhm.
We want
Yeah.
digital clairvoyance when you come on the space. Understand
Yeah.
that when you come on the space, first of all, I'm not your friend. I just want to be very clear. Not
Big
your friend.
facts.
I'm an interviewer. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we
Mhm.
could chew the fat and shuck and jive in the Discord DM and on Google Chat and and then on Twitter and the
And all
DMs
of
and all
that.
that. But
Yeah.
when you step into the square, when you step in this world,
It's your
please have
house.
your ducks in a row. Please have your shoes tied. Please make sure you don't have a tie on. Come dressed. What I'm saying
Mhm.
in layman's terms is be ready, be prepared.
Be
And moving on to
prepared.
this, yep. And moving on to this with quality. Just be prepared with
Yeah.
quality. Because a lot of people
At
will come and
least.
spew bullshit and sell you bullshit, but just bring quality to the table, because that's all we
Mhm.
want to align ourselves with in the blockchain. And the quality, the cream is always going to rise to the top. So I feel like based on everything you said, I feel like those four things are definitely fundamental cues that any person looking to come into the blockchain and build a project that's listening to this should definitely write down, take heed, Hit Dallas up on Twitter, pick his brain. If you
Please
need to
do.
connect, holler at me. I'll connect you. And you'll get that consultation and get set up. For a
Hmm.
nominal fee, of course, because that's
Of course.
time was
Of
bread. You,
course.
you heard. And then
Yeah, man.
let's talk about Ford project do's and as we start to wind down the show and get to the last topic. Let's talk
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
Ford project like do's. And well, we did the do's. Let's talk about Ford project don'ts. Like
Hmm.
what like based on your experience on mistakes you've made. Um, and you don't have to be necessarily specific to you, but just mistakes that you've observed in the blockchain between founders, projects, and things like that. What are some things you feel like founders shouldn't do because it'll backfire or it won't work out in their favor, if you will.
Yeah, I got you. I'll give you a quick four, and then I think this is gonna be a great segue into our last topic about what defines good alpha, right? So the four
Mm-hmm.
things are: number one, don't bring too many people into the core team. You know, don't do that. More than two. If there's three, one of them better be the artist, because if that's not the case, then there's too many. There's too many. Bulls in the stable. Like it's too many people that think that they need to make the final decision. It's just never gonna work. It's not.
Too
It
too
won't.
many too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Number two would be, don't pay your way. Don't pay for the fast pass of life. Don't you dare like pay to um, you know, artificially manipulate your situation, whether that be your followers count or postmat, whether that be your floor price, right? It's not going to work well for you. It never does. It never, ever, 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 ever does. Number three would be, uh, don't don't start this unless you're ready to end it. Like don't walk into the game thinking this shit's sexy, thinking being a project founder is going to give you clout when you're not really prepared for the aftermath and the time, the respect for the time commitment involved in the longevity of the game that is creating a successful business. That's what this is. This ain't no cute shit. This is a fucking project, bro. This is a small business. Like people are looking for the next 5, 10 year outlook. You might not see that now in the next 30 days, but that's the way I see it. Like, don't do this if you're not ready for it. And number four, I'd say don't hide behind your ecosystem. Don't hide behind the hierarchy. You will not survive. You will be found out. The light in the motel will cut on eventually, and the roaches will fly. Roaches will run. Like you are one of those roaches if you feel like you can escape the public eye. You can escape pushing your own narrative, your own project. You can escape all that stuff and just fly under the radar. That ain't gonna work ever. You're gonna get found out. You're gonna get fighted out to the surface, and then someone's gonna grill you onto the surface and put your ashes in the trash where it belongs. Like so, you know, you might want to be prepared when you enter the game because people that have been there, done that, are gonna come find you like Cliff. They're gonna come find you like High Q. They're gonna come find you and
Yeah,
they're going to put you on blast. And it's not gonna be good. And
yeah.
I don't have the floaties to save you. I don't.
Nope, nope, nope. You gonna want the space to end after he says more questions. Oh yeah, I got like 20 more. Someone pay me. Like, I'm not done.
Right,
This is
right.
exorcism.
Yeah.
You know?
You're gonna be
Like
sweating, and then you
the
realize it's
power of
45
your
minutes
Christ
left.
compels you. This is exorcism. This is a
Yeah, man.
blockchain exorcism. We're not playing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I like those four. You know why? Because you're right. I feel like a lot of people come in on false pretense to sort of like monkey shit, you know.
Hmm.
And so it ends up biting them in the butt. You know what I mean? So
Every
I
time.
100% no, I 100% agree with those points. Now here's the thing: as we're talking about projects and founders and different metas and so on and so forth, in your professional experienced opinion, not only as an investor, founder, but just as a business person, right? What
Hmm.
defines good alpha? Because a lot of times, especially in this space, there's a new there's just like look, there's 2,500 new projects minting every week, right? So alpha this, alpha that, this is gonna this is gonna that, and let's face it, I say 90% of projects never really never really explode beyond mid price. In fact, most of them, they fall flat, they go to zero, right? Or they end
Right.
up, you minted for 2 SOL, and then 2 months later it's like 0.03 SOL. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like this,
Yeah.
like you go into Discord and there's like tumbleweed memes and gifs and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like, your professional experience, how do you filter all of that? Like, what defines good alpha? And in terms of like your impulse or your control as an investor, how do you, Dallas, go about sort of, you know traversing that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got you, and I'll make it quick because I know we've been on here for 50 minutes, and you know how I am about time.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
the most effective means of measuring what good alpha is information, right? What does that mean? That means that if you can find the information that you're looking for as a well-equipped investor, then you're off to a good start. If you could find who started the project, okay, all right, what is this project? Do they have a Discord? Great, I can find that. Awesome, they got a website. Cool, I'm finding more information about them. Does their website have anything about their founders? Do they have something to do about the mint price, the mint supply, the date? Why in the fuck we're even making this project? For what? Just to add another JPEG into the ecosystem to grab money, or are we trying to change the world? Are we trying to put a spotlight on a niche, sector of the world that hasn't really been talked about? What is it?
Right.
The simplicity of finding information is what, in my opinion, would define what good alpha is, right? Someone is calling upon you to follow something or to buy into something. It's because they were able to find all of this information very easily. So they know that they can stamp their name on it, because whenever you do your due diligence, if you do, and you don't just blindly follow someone, you know that, oh damn, they've got all this stuff, they've got this roadmap, they got this, that, it all makes sense to me, and I can put
Mm-hmm.
the, dot the i's, cross the t's. All right, bet. Well, I'm gonna buy in, and I'm gonna take your expertise as an alpha caller to know that if this was a short term, midterm, long term hold, or short term flip, right, that you were able to find all of this information, so that I don't have to do that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And to kind of like piggyback on top of that, as we sort of wind this down, like, I agree with you. I like, anybody out there who's looking at good projects, to be honest with you, the best projects that I think I've been to so far in Solana that I've come across this year, right? They have really, really original concepts. Um, the founders or the team, the developers have the wherewithal. They have the know-how to go about and execute. Like, for example, take a project like Sentries or like Netrunner or CrowdSurf. Three completely independent projects. Sentries is validators, right? So you're getting residual income, um, which is my favorite word in investing. You get tons of passive income.
Of course.
You're getting right, you're getting money back, kickback from their business venture, and you're getting kickback from the validator. And right now, from what I understand, they're the number one validator in Solana. When they pre-mint, I got on a space with and Kevin and the
Mm-hmm.
guys over there. Love that team.
Yeah.
Definitely a friend of the Suteki family. Um, and these
Always.
guys were like super duper knowledgeable. I'm like, they know what the f they're doing. I got the same inkling from CrowdSurf. I got the same
Yeah.
inkling when I heard pitch, like CrowdSurf. It's basically like a blockchain investor, sort of credit, investor rating. Like, what are you? You a flipper? Are you a paper hander? Like, so when people are building projects and they come to CrowdSurf and they're like, well, who are your strongest communities of pleasures? Then it's a utility for a project builder, because you could go to CrowdSurf and go, hey, so you're telling me that you have this sample data of the best investors in the ecosystem in the blockchain, and I can utilize that and provide them with whitelists for my project. Okay, great. Boom, functionality, right? Netrunner. They track all your crypto and blockchain, NFT, and staking transactions to give you a tax statement to do your taxes at the end of the year. Simple. So for anybody, so to bring my point full circle and to piggyback on what Dallas said, for anybody who is looking for a project with good alpha, look for a really, really original idea that hasn't been done before. Assess the competency of the fence, of course, because the head of the body, the leader of the team is, more or less the direction, the driver. And then ask yourself how simple a concept is this to really understand. Because remember, sales is simple. Genius is simple. The best products are broken down so simple that a toddler can understand what the product does. So if you have
Yep.
like a really sophisticated system and you can break it down simply, you're gonna win. You're gonna win in every space that you go in. You
Yep.
invest in a project that has these attributes, you're gonna see a healthy increase in floor prices, so on and so forth. And that's my 2 cents as far as what defines good alpha and impulse control. So
Yeah.
check, then go ahead and hit the mint button or try to get a whitelist and get involved in the community and take it from there.
Of
When I
course.
first came in the blockchain, if it looked good, if it sounded good, if it felt, I would go ahead and hit the mint button. I stopped doing that. You know what I mean? Because I have several wallets, and I have a
Yeah.
wallet I like to call the graveyard.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, you try to
yeah,
put the least amount of things in there as possible. But to round that out, I really think that that's a very much the end cap of a very informative episode of
yep.
KTSE. I really
KTSE,
just want to
thanks
thank
for coming.
everybody. Absolutely. Thank everybody for being here. Hopefully you got some gems because there were plenty laid out for you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course we are, man. It's been a fun time. We're here for a good time and a long
Mm-hmm.
time. We're here to build value and connect with our listeners and investors and everybody else in the game and everyone else outside of the ecosystem as well, right? Our goal is really to bridge the gap and you know, um, you know, be a source of information just for everybody. So thank you again. Yeah. Thank you again for, tuning in. Like I said, keep that same energy. KTSE is at Light Skin Soul, at Cliff the Gully. It's episode 2, State of Affairs.Sol. And, that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see us Tuesdays, 8:30 Central PM. Until next time.
Until next time, everybody, get home safe. God bless. Touch some grass, roll some grass, cup some ass. It all rhymes. Whatever works. Just make sure you're living your truth. Make sure you're absolutely happy, and make sure that you're being good to the people that are good to you. You know what I mean? And with that being
Yes,
said,
sir.
thank you for tuning into episode 2 entitled State of Affairs.Soul. Expect more fire content, more high vibrations, you know what I mean? More aggressive, more aggression, more assertiveness. You know what I mean? 2 lit hosts with a lot of swag, just dripping all over the blockchain. And ladies and
That's
gentlemen, this
right.
has been episode 2. Thank you again. God bless everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And thanks everybody who's going to tune in like after the fact because they didn't have a chance to tonight because of whatever reason. We appreciate your time,
Yep.
appreciate your input. God bless. Big love, big love.
Until next time. Take